Hi there! So I'm just going to walk through everything on the main editing page for your Shopify site. You can come back and rewatch these videos whenever you want to do something, or anytime you might forget anything. My goal is to cover as much as I possibly can, so you can come back whenever you need and have the information there and ready for you. So I'm going to try and break everything down by each individual section. And basically we're just going to walk down the entire page and see all of the different editing, and hopefully that'll cover any questions and confusion you might have. So, getting started. We are in your editing theme page as we've been before. And as before, we can see this is the theme name. This takes you back to your main Shopify site where you can add your products. We have the home page and other page breakdown menu. You can see everything in here. For now, we're going to be predominantly focusing on the home page. Most of these other pages self-curate, or I can edit those for you later on. So on this home page, we have our header. This is your logo here. If you ever decide that you want to change this, we want to go with a different option, different color or something, this is where you can come in and make those tweaks happen. You can see that you have your option to change, edit, or remove your current logo, as well as adjust the length of the logo in pixels. So currently your image is 375 pixels across. If we wanted to make this larger or smaller, this is where you would do it. So we could make it say 300 or 200 and enter, and you can see how it shrinks and grows depending. I found that 375 was a nice balance between having it easily visible and readable without it being too big or too small. Everything underneath of here is kind of things that you won't have to touch terribly often. We have your menu area, which we can edit through the back end. And this just allows us to customize what menu items we see up here. So we currently have the home, about, your design process, and your collections drop down. If we wanted to make changes to this, the edit menu would be where we would want to do that. You can see it opens automatically in a new tab. And in here, we can come in and we can add different items to the menu as we see fit, or get rid of items. So this would be an opportunity if we wanted to do, say, a featured page for a new item or something that you've just released. We could come in and we could add this into the add menu item here. So back on our main page, we can also do an announcement bar. This will show up here underneath of the main menu area. We could type in text, so we could do something like sign up for our newsletter, see our newest products, items, sale running for the weekend, anything like that. So we can just hide that if we don't want that. It's pretty easy. And you don't actually have to link any text if you don't want to, or you can put a URL in there if you want as well. So we're coming back to the main menu again. So we're on the home page still. Next item is our slideshow. So as we talked before, we have a few different optional settings for the slideshow. We have the first being the option to change the size. So we can opt for a small slideshow, which you can see is significantly shorter, or we can opt for a large one, or we can have it pick off of the first image in the collection. I would recommend going with the small or the large, just because some of these pictures are quite large and we don't want it to take up too much of the screen. Underneath of this, we have our space to edit and add up to 4 slides. Each one of these little arrows with the dots represents one of the slides. You can rename these based off of the title that we're showing, or they'll just come in as slide. So we want to click on this to open the slide itself. In this, we have the option to change, edit, or remove our photo. As we talked about before, we also have the image position. The image position is important because this allows the picture to be centered or set off to either side depending on the orientation, so whether that's a phone, a computer, or a tablet. So each image will be different, but generally we'll want to focus around either middle center or bottom center. And this is just because most of the images that we've taken and created are have the subject being predominantly towards the center, and generally the more important content is towards the bottom. So as you can see, this will shift the image up, down, left, right. And this will also affect you, like I said, in the smaller like self-em view as well. So you can see how it shifts around. If you want to change your title or remove a title entirely, we edit that in our heading area. I would suggest keeping this to 2 or 3 words just because you don't want it running off of the page or getting too long or too lengthy, though you don't have to put anything there if you don't want to. From here, we can add a button, and if we add a button, we will also have to add a link, otherwise the button will not show up. So say we want to add the View All Products button, and we could come in here and we can click Products, and we could pick which one we want specifically. And now that we have the link selected, you can see our View All Products appears. If we want that button to go away, we just simply remove the link and it will automatically disappear. And I would try and make sure to always pick something that's relevant to the slide itself. If you decide that you want to remove the slide entirely, you can remove the content and you can come in and add a new slide starting from scratch, though you can always just come in and change the image and everything underneath of the existing slide if you find that's easier. All of these slides function exactly the same, so you'll have your space for your image. You'll want to align whichever way works best. You can opt to have the heading or no heading. You can see now again we have the link to the bracelet specifically, which you can always change. And then we also have the option to reorder our slides. So say you decided that you want the girl as your first slide, anywhere you have these 6 little dots and the hand appears, you can move your slide order or whatever item you're working with. So you can see now that it's just reloading the page, it's readjusted your order back and forth. So you can see it appear again. So once we are done with the slideshow, we can move on to our collections.